Close your eyes. A voice whispers over your right shoulder, rain rises above you, a piano blooms 3 meters in front. That is spatial audio, sound that lives in 3D around your head, not just left and right in your ears. The surprise is how fast it is moving from movie theaters into earbuds, laptops, and cars you already use. Why this matters: audio shapes focus, emotion, and presence. Spatial mixes can make music feel bigger, games more immersive, calls less tiring, and navigation safer. If you spend hours with headphones or speakers, this upgrade changes the feel of everything you listen to. First, the concept. Traditional stereo puts sound on a line between two speakers. Spatial audio places sound objects in 3D space, then renders them for your ears. That rendering uses a head-related transfer function, or HRTF, which is a model of how your torso, head, and ears filter sound from different directions. Add head tracking and the mix stays anchored in space while you move, which tricks your brain into believing sound is out in the world. It is not magic, it is math plus anatomy. Formats next. You will hear names like Dolby Atmos, MPEG-H, 360 reality audio, and Ambisonics. Do not panic. They all describe sound as positions in space with metadata, rather than baking everything into 2 channels. Atmos is common in film and streaming. MPEG-H shows up in broadcast and interactive use, 360 RA targets. Music catalogs and Ambisonics captures sound fields for VR and post-production. The idea is the same, transport intent, not just a baked mix, so the playback device can adapt. Where does spatial audio shine today? 3 places. Music, when the arrangement has layers that benefit from space. Choirs, strings, live rooms, cinematic pop, ambient, and jazz. Games and VR, where position is information, not just vibe. Communication, where placing people around a virtual table reduces cognitive load and makes it easier to track who is speaking. Here is the test. If space helps you understand or feel the scene, spatial wins. If the song is a tight mono banger, stereo might already be perfect. Let us talk hardware. Headphones are the easiest on-ramp since you can control the acoustic environment at your ears. Earbuds with built-in head tracking can lock a virtual stage in front of you. Over-ears give a wider canvas and better bass, and some pairs let you load a personal HRTF that matches your ear shape. Soundbars use beamforming, a trick where multiple drivers time sound to bounce off walls and create the illusion of height and width. Smart speakers aim a similar trick at small rooms. Reality check: a soundbar cannot break physics. It can only bend it, so room size, ceiling height, and seating position still matter. Creation is where the magic becomes repeatable. In a digital audio workstation, mixers place sound objects in a 3D panner and define a bed for ambience. The system writes metadata that says where each object lives, how big it is, and how it moves. On playback, the renderer maps those objects to your device, whether that is a 7.1.4 speaker layout or a pair of earbuds. Strength: the same master adapts to many devices. Trade-off: translation is hard. A mix that feels epic on speakers can crowd your head on headphones, so good engineers audition on multiple renderers and deliver a stereo fold-down that still slaps. Personalization is the next leap. Since HRTFs are unique, a generic profile is a compromise. New tools scan your ears with a phone camera or learn your profile by listening to how you respond to test tones. The payoff is sharper placement, clearer front versus back cues, and less fatigue. It is the difference between cool demo and daily driver. Quick pattern interrupt. What if your best headphone upgrade is not the headphone, it is your HRTF file? Now the use cases you will feel next year. Music that pulls the vocal forward and wraps instruments around you without smearing. Movies at home where helicopters genuinely arc overhead and dialogue stays fixed at the screen. Fitness and mindfulness apps that coach from a consistent position so you do not lose the beat. Cars that place alerts in the direction of a hazard. Meetings that seat teammates virtually so overlapping voices are easier to parse. Navigation that pins voices to landmarks in AR glasses, right ear for right turn, left ear for left. Spatial is not a party trick, it is a UI. There are real limits. Bad upmixes can push stems behind you just because the format allows it, which blurs intent. Overcooked reverbs make everything sound like a cave. Low bitrate streams can mush transients when the renderer has a lot to do. Head tracking that drifts or lags breaks the illusion in seconds. Battery and CPU matter too, since rendering and tracking cost power. Finally, not every catalog song needs a spatial treatment. Respect the mix. Ecosystem friction is normal in a transition. Catalogs will contain true spatial mixes, tasteful remasters, and quick conversions. Platforms may label them the same, so listen before you judge. Some services let you switch head tracking off, which is useful on the train when you cannot keep your head still. Some phones default to a generic HRTF. Some let you personalize. In cars, the seat you choose can change the effect, since the system may optimize for the driver. So, how do you try this well? Start with headphones or earbuds you already like, then play a handful of well-regarded spatial tracks in a quiet space. Toggle spatial on and off. If you hear a wider stage, more depth, and stable placement that survives small head turns, you are in the good zone. If the vocal floats behind your forehead or the bass thins out, try a different track or disable head tracking for that session. Next, if your platform offers ear scans or profile tuning, do it once and save the profile. For living rooms, measure your seat to screen distance and check your soundbar height settings. Small adjustments make big differences. For creators, a simple checklist helps. Begin with intent. Decide what the listener should feel or understand. Place only what benefits from space. Keep anchors like lead vocal and kick drum solid. Test on headphones, speakers, and a laptop. Deliver a stereo version with the same emotional arc. Use automation sparingly so motion supports the song instead of stealing attention. The best spatial mixes feel inevitable, not impressive. Tell me the first album or film you want to hear in spatial. If this helped, subscribe for more practical audio breakdowns that upgrade what you hear every day.